with the knife.
Come on, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in, get in! You arrived. Time to go. Come on. Rip it, we're coming in hot. Hold on. Hold up! Your dude's tripping!
Pay you what you want.
I like little movies. Try.
Go, go, go!
Go.
Well,
Nice job.
how about you kids? Kill anyone?
God!
What do you want?
GPS tracker.
I need a body. Find him.
Jag har inte hållit på someone. Wait till the line.
Just turn this off, places.
Bro, I'm trying to enjoy the view because... Then we're trapped in here at each other. This. Together. Get out of this alive. That's simple. Get ready. Come on. From there. gotta protect that signal jammer.
Tank problem, pal.
Do something to... Hey, look! Let's go!
Papa! Not good.
Come on, drive this! Yeah!
Damn, that's cool.
That's what it looked like.
You're no...
Down is up.
On my way. Gang, come on, clear the roof!
You think you could even just wound it?
Anybody else? Useless.
They got valet parking here! Don't stop! Come on, guys, move!
Go! Yay!
You're welcome.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the guy that just saved...
Batteries at 2%.
Come on, let's finish. How you feeling? Come on, stand up. You feel better.
Barney, where are you?
Armor. I want you to feel this. And don't even think about going for that piece. That's it.
Barney, go! Batteries at 1%!
Come on! Stand wait! Oh, me, Barney.
Blow me up! I'm gonna kill you!
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the explosive world of the Expendables 3, where the body count is high and the puns are even higher. Get ready for a high-octane recap featuring more legendary action stars than your local Comic-Con, all packed into one gloriously over-the-top cinematic adventure. We'll break down every punch, every explosion, and every moment of grizzled glory. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. Now, strap in because we kick things off with a bang, literally. Our story opens not with a gentle fade-in, but with a massive, armored train hurtling towards a maximum security prison. This isn't your average commuter service, unless your commute involves smashing through reinforced concrete walls and initiating an immediate, full-scale tactical assault. Barney Ross, played by the perpetually squinting Sylvester Stallone, leads his grizzled crew, Jason Statham's knife-wielding Lee Christmas, Dolph Lundgren's unpredictable Gunnar Jensen, and Randy Couture's surprisingly philosophical Toll Road. Their mission, extract an old Expendables co-founder named Doc, played by the legendarily charismatic Wesley Snipes, who's been chilling in the clink for 8 years. You know, just a casual jailbreak on a Tuesday morning. The metallic shriek of the train as it tears through the prison gates is deafening, a sound that promises absolute carnage. Bullets start flying almost instantly, a relentless rat-a-tat-tat from automatic weapons echoing through the cold, stark corridors. The thud of bodies hitting the ground, the crack of fists connecting with faces, it's a brutal ballet of destruction. Doc, proving he hasn't lost a step despite his enforced vacation, joins the fray with a surprising agility, dispatching guards with a fluid grace that makes you wonder if he was secretly practicing capoeira in his cell. The whoosh of his lightning-fast kicks and the thwack of his open-hand strikes are a joy to behold. This opening sequence is pure, unadulterated adrenaline, a spectacular reintroduction to a team that clearly doesn't believe in subtle entrances. They are here, they are loud, and they are bringing more firepower than a small army. The metallic clang of spent shell casings hitting the floor is almost rhythmic, a drumbeat of imminent victory. And just like that, we're reminded why we love these guys. They turn problem-solving into an art form, a very explosive art form. This whole operation is less a rescue and more a highly choreographed, heavy metal symphony of mayhem. Barney barks orders, his voice raspy but firm, and the team executes with a grim efficiency that suggests they've done this a time or two before. The crash of another door being blown off its hinges, the pop of a concussion grenade, it's all part of the Expendables' charm. And as Doc is finally free, you can practically feel the relief, even amidst the ongoing chaos. What a way to say, welcome back, old friend. This initial assault sets the tone. Turn up the volume, buckle up, and prepare for a wild ride because the Expendables are back, baby. Alright, with Doc safely aboard the chopper, and let's be honest, Snipes makes even escaping prison look stylish, the crew heads back to base. The mood is a mix of triumph and the usual post-explosion ringing in everyone's ears. Doc, still rocking those prison stripes like they're the latest fashion, drops a classic line about his years inside being 8 years for tax evasion. A real mood setter, that one. Clearly, the man hasn't lost his sardonic edge. Back at their incredibly spacious, suspiciously unmarked hangar, the team gets the lowdown on their next gig. This isn't just a simple snatch and grab. It's about intercepting some high-tech weaponry from a notorious arms dealer in Mogadishu. As they review the intel, a picture flashes on screen, and the air goes colder than a polar bear's toenails. The target? None other than Conrad Stonebanks, played with delicious villainy by Mel Gibson. Now, if you're thinking, didn't he die? You're not alone. Barney thought so too. Turns out, Stonebanks was one of the original Expendables, a co-founder even, but went rogue and became a truly nasty piece of work, known for his art trafficking and overall menace. Barney personally put him down years ago, or so he thought. Talk about a bad penny turning up. The revelation hits Barney like a ton of bricks. You can almost hear the gears grinding in his head. The metallic click of Lee Christmas sharpening his knives, a subtle but ominous sound, suddenly carries more weight. Gunnar's usual boisterous humor evaporates, replaced by a steely-eyed focus. This isn't just about money or stopping a generic bad guy. It's deeply, painfully personal for Barney. The betrayal, the thought of this ghost from his past still wreaking havoc, ignites a simmering fury in him. The subtle tension is almost palpable, a quiet hum beneath the hangar's fluorescent lights. This mission just went from job to vendetta, and everyone can feel the shift. The familiar thud of gear being packed, the clink of ammo clips, it all sounds a lot more serious now, like the prelude to a symphony of destruction. And just when you thought these guys couldn't get any grittier, here comes a blast from the past to make things exceptionally uncomfortable. Stonebanks being alive feels less like a miracle and more like a cruel cosmic joke, especially for Barney, with Stonebanks' ghost looming large. The Expendables descend upon Mogadishu like a heavily armed swarm of very angry bees. This isn't a stealth mission, it's a full-frontal assault, because when you're dealing with a personal vendetta, sometimes you just need to make a grand, noisy entrance. The air immediately fills with the ferocious rat-a-tat-tat of automatic gunfire. Bullets was passed with angry zings and pings, impacting concrete and metal with brutal force. Our heroes, moving with a practiced, lethal grace, navigate the chaotic compound, a whirlwind of fists, knives, and good old-fashioned lead. Doc, with his trademark, almost balletic fighting style, takes down opponents with fluid efficiency. The thwack of his hand strikes precise and devastating. Lee Christmas is a blur of blades, his knives finding their marks with sickening thuds. Gunner, as always, embraces the chaos, his powerful punches making unfortunate henchmen rethink their career choices, often accompanied by a satisfying crunch of bone. Then Stonebanks himself makes a grand, villainous entrance, sneering at Barney and confirming that he's definitely alive and still a great jerk. He's got that gleefully unhinged look, like a man who just discovered unlimited express shipping for his weaponized toys. The confrontation is tense, the metallic click of their guns being brought to bear, a stark counterpoint to the distant explosions. As the team extracts by helicopter, a hail of gunfire erupts. Caesar, ever the stalwart, stands his ground, providing cover fire. But then, a sickening thump, Caesar takes a massive hit, the impact throwing him backward. The gasp from the team, the sudden scramble to pull him aboard, is a gut-wrenching moment. The rhythmic thump-thump-thump of the rotor blades seems to mock their hurried efforts as the chopper lurches away. He's bleeding profusely, and the metallic tang of blood suddenly fills the air. The joy of taking down Stonebanks' operation is instantly overshadowed by the grim reality of Caesar's life-threatening injury. It's a stark, brutal reminder that even legends bleed, and some wounds cut deeper than any blade, asterisk back in the relative quiet of a hospital. The beep-beep-beep of a heart monitor replaces the roaring symphony of gunfire. Caesar is fighting for his life, his massive frame looking surprisingly fragile amidst the sterile white sheets. Barney, usually unflappable, sits by his bedside, the weight of guilt pressing down on him like a fully loaded tank. The silence in the room is heavy, broken only by the rhythmic whir of medical equipment and his own ragged breaths. You can almost feel his internal monologue screaming, "This is my fault." It's a rare moment of vulnerability for the stoic leader, and it's genuinely affecting. Later, still wrestling with his demons, Barney has a clandestine meeting with CIA agent Drummer, played by the perpetually cool Harrison Ford. Drummer, leaning against his slick private jet, drops some exposition faster than a hot potato, confirming Stonebanks is indeed a ghost who refused to stay buried. He's also apparently a master of art theft, which honestly feels like a surprisingly sophisticated hobby for a guy who just tried to blow up a bunch of action heroes. Drummer, with his trademark dry wit, offers Barney a chance to finally put Stonebanks down for good, hinting at resources and intel that could prove invaluable. The distant hum of the jet's engines provides a fitting backdrop to this high-stakes conversation. Barney, looking out at the city lights, the whoosh of passing cars barely audible, grapples with the immense challenge. He knows this isn't just about vengeance. It's about preventing Stonebanks from unleashing more chaos on the world. The metallic tang of fear, usually absent from Barney's emotional palette, is subtly present. The thought of Caesar, hovering between life and death, is a constant, stinging reminder of the price of their profession. This isn't just a mission. It's a moral quandary wrapped in an action movie. With Caesar still in the ICU and the grim specter of Stonebanks haunting his every thought, Barney makes a decision that feels heavier than a fully loaded ammo crate. He gathers the remaining core team in their familiar, metal-clad hangar. The atmosphere is tense, thick with unspoken worry, a silence broken only by the clink of Gunner nervously fiddling with a piece of equipment. Barney looks at his brothers in arms. Christmas, Gunner, Toll Road. Even the quiet but deadly Yin-Yang gently makes an appearance, though briefly, and delivers the crushing news. "You're done," he says, his voice raspy, barely above a whisper, but firm as steel. The words hang in the air, echoing off the cold metal walls, each syllable a dagger to their hearts. It's like telling a pack of lions they're now house cats. You can practically see the shock, the anger, and the deep hurt flash across their weathered faces. These guys have faced down armies, survived impossible odds, and now they're being told to retire from a man who's supposed to be their family. The thud of a toolbox being dropped, the strained silence that follows, everything amplifies the gravity of the moment. They're veterans, warriors who only know one way of life, and Barney is stripping that away to protect them. It's a noble, yet heartbreaking move. The sound of their gear being packed up, the metallic scrape of crates being dragged, is genuinely melancholic. It feels less like a simple disbandment and more like a funeral for a way of life. The unspoken goodbyes, the heavy sighs, the distant whir of the ventilation system, it all creates a profound sense of loss. Barney, ever the lonely leader, walks away, leaving his family behind, convinced it's for their own good. It's a testament to his love for them, but also a terribly lonely burden to bear. Like trying to juggle grenades with one hand, Barney, now a lone wolf with a massive chip on his shoulder and a personal war to wage, realizes he needs help, but not from the familiar faces he just benched. So he turns to Bonaparte, played by the endlessly entertaining Kelsey Grammer, who, let's be real, sounds like he's about to order a fine wine and a side of international espionage. Bonaparte is a mercenary recruiter, basically the HR department for highly skilled, extremely dangerous individuals. They're meeting in a bustling bar, with the clinking of glasses and the low murmur of conversation, feels wonderfully understated given the explosive nature of their business. Barney tasks Bonaparte with finding him a new crew, younger, faster, and more technologically inclined, because apparently, even old-school tough guys have to acknowledge that Wi-Fi is occasionally useful. What follows is a globe-trotting montage of recruitment, a highlight reel of raw talent. We meet Luna, played by the powerhouse Ronda Rousey, who's introduced mid-brawl, delivering a crack of a punch that probably realigns spines. Then there's Thorne, Glenn Powell, a tech wizard who can hack anything, his fingers flying across keyboards with a furious click-clack. Smiley, played by Victor Ortiz, is a combat specialist with a permanent scowl and a penchant for breaking things, the thud of his heavy bag training echoing his intensity. And Mars, a special forces sniper, is introduced with lethal precision, the snap of his rifle a silent promise of destruction. It's like a super serious version of The Voice, but instead of singing, they're demonstrating their ability to disarm, dismantle, and devastate. The sounds of their training, the thwack of sparring gloves, the whir of drone cameras, the precise ping of a headshot target, are a stark contrast to the old guard's visceral, purely analog combat. Barney watches them, a mix of skepticism and grudging admiration on his face, wondering if these digital natives can really stand up to a truly analog monster like Stonebanks. It's a calculated risk, a gamble that youth and technology can somehow match decades of hardened experience. What could possibly go wrong? With the new blood assembled, it's time for some serious training, Expendables style, which means less push-ups and more dodging actual explosions. Barney, still wearing the weight of his previous decision like a heavy coat, oversees the rigorous regimen. He's got his doubts, you can see it in his perpetually skeptical gaze. The training ground is a symphony of controlled chaos, the thwack of fists on punching bags, the whoosh of martial arts kicks. The rapid click of sniper rifles being assembled and disassembled with blinding speed. Thorne, the tech genius, is all about the digital warfare, his fingers flying across interfaces with a quiet whir, his mind already 3 steps ahead of the enemy's firewall. Luna, the brawler, hits with a primal force, the crack of her punches echoing across the training yard. Smiley and Mars move with a focused intensity, their tactical prowess evident in every precise movement. They run through obstacle courses, where actual explosions erupt, the concussive boom forcing them to duck and weave, the heat from the fire singeing their eyebrows. It's less a training camp and more a trial by fire, a deliberate test of their mettle and, let's be honest, their sanity. Barney watches Ever the Hawk assessing their capabilities, their teamwork, and most importantly, their grit. He's looking for that spark, that unwavering resolve that defines an expendable. The banter between the new recruits, initially a bit stiff, gradually loosens up, turning into the kind of sarcastic camaraderie you expect from a group of people who regularly face death. The clink of their gear, the grunt of exertion, the occasional yelp as someone narrowly avoids a flying prop, it all contributes to the raw, visceral energy of their preparation. Slowly but surely, a new team begins to gel, their diverse skill sets forming a surprisingly cohesive, albeit youthful, unit. Barney might be a tough taskmaster, but he knows what it takes to survive, and he's putting them through the absolute ringer to see if they've got it with their training completed, or at least mostly completed without anyone losing a limb. The new Expendables are deployed to Armenia for their very first live-fire mission, capture Stonebanks. Barney, ever the paranoid dad, is overseeing the operation from a safe distance, watching on screens. The new team moves with a confident stride, their comms filled with crisp, professional chatter, a contrast to the old crew's grunts and sarcastic remarks. They infiltrate a warehouse, a dark, sprawling space that feels ripe for a trap. Thorn, with his digital wizardry, quickly bypasses security systems, the quiet whir of his laptop a stark counterpoint to the impending danger. Luna, Smiley, and Mars clear the building, their movements precise, their weapons clicking into readiness. Everything seems to be going smoothly, perhaps a little too smoothly. And then the trap springs. Stonebanks, ever the puppet master, has outmaneuvered them, turning their supposed ambush into a brutal snare. Suddenly, the warehouse is flooded with Stonebanks' well-armed goons, emerging from every shadow. The air explodes with gunfire, a deafening rat-a-tat-tat that makes your ears ring. The young team fights valiantly, but they're outnumbered and outmaneuvered. The thud of bodies, the ping of ricocheting bullets, the desperate shouts of fallback. It's a chaotic, overwhelming onslaught. Luna lands powerful blows, but even her strength has limits against so many. Thorn frantically tries to hack their way out, his fingers a blur, but the system is locked down tighter than a drum. One by one, they're taken down, the metallic clatter of their dropped weapons a mournful sound. Barney, watching helplessly from afar, can only stare at the screens as his new team is captured, the visuals flickering, then going dark. The gut-wrenching realization that he sent them into a meat grinder, and that his attempt to save his old friends has jeopardized new ones, is absolutely crushing. The metallic taste of defeat is bitter, a grim reminder that even the best laid plans can go horribly, explosively wrong, asterisk. The gang's all here, and by gang, I mean arguably the greatest collection of action movie legends ever seen in one room, plus a few fresh faces eager to prove their worth. The air in their makeshift war room is thick with a different kind of tension now, not fear, but focused determination. The old guard, with their weathered faces and even more weathered jokes, are back in their element. The familiar clink of their heavy-duty gear being laid out on a table, the rustle of maps, the low murmur of strategic discussion, it's a beautiful sound to any action fan. Barney, with drummer and Trench by his side, meticulously outlines the plan to assault Stonebanks' fortress in Vasquez. This isn't just a building, it's a heavily fortified, multi-layered death trap. Thorn, the tech was from the new team, provides crucial intel from his earlier reconnaissance, his fingers dancing across a holographic display. The software of the projector illuminating their grim faces. It's a fascinating blend of old-school tactical genius and modern digital warfare. Lee Christmas sharpens his knives with a rhythmic shik-shik, a silent promise of precision. Gunner grumbles a plan for maximum destructive force, the thump of his fist on the table emphasizing his points. Even Galgo, with his incessant chatter and boundless energy, contributes, his rapid-fire suggestions adding a unique flavor to the strategy. The sound of a heavy machine gun being mounted on a vehicle, the click of a grenade pin being tested, the distant whine of an engine being revved up, it all signals that the storm is coming. This isn't just about rescuing the kids. It's about a final, definitive confrontation with Stonebanks. The stakes are higher than ever, and the combined might of these warriors, both old and new, is a terrifying force. They are a symphony of impending destruction, and Stonebanks is about to get a very loud, very painful encore. The moment of truth arrives, and the combined Expendables force descends upon Vasquez like a plague of very well-armed locusts. Stonebanks' hotel, a towering fortress of villainy, is about to get a serious structural redesign, courtesy of our heroes. This isn't a subtle insertion. This is a full-scale, no-holds-barred invasion. The lead vehicles, armored to the teeth, crash through the outer walls with an earth-shattering crash, sending concrete and debris flying in every direction. The sound is deafening, a visceral declaration of war. Explosions erupt almost simultaneously, blossoming like deadly flowers against the building's facade, their concussive booms rattling the very ground. Inside, the firefight ignites instantly, a relentless rat-a-tat-tat of automatic weapons, a symphony of destruction that would make a heavy metal band proud. The old guard, moving with a practiced, brutal efficiency, cut through Stonebanks' bewildered goons. Lee Christmas, a blur of motion, dispatches enemies with his signature knives, the whoosh of air displacement before a sickening thunk. Gunner, a human wrecking ball, throws foes around like ragdolls, their grunts of pain barely audible over the din. Doc, still impossibly cool, delivers precise, bone-jarring strikes, his movements fluid and deadly. The new recruits, initially wide-eyed at the sheer scale of the chaos, quickly snap into action, their training kicking in. Thorne, the tech expert, is already working his magic, disrupting communications, the quiet whir of his equipment barely heard amidst the cacophony. Luna, a force of nature, delivers thunderous punches, the crack of her knuckles on armor resounding. Smiley and Mars provide relentless cover fire and strategic takedowns. The air is thick with the metallic tang of gunpowder and the smell of ozone. Every ping of a ricocheting bullet, every shatter of glass, every thud of a body hitting the ground adds to the terrifying grandeur of this assault. It's a relentless, non-stop barrage of pure, unadulterated action, proving that when the Expendables decide to pay a visit, they don't just knock, they demolish the entire front door, and then some. Just when you think things can't get any wilder. Stonebanks, clearly a man who owns stock in a demolition company, ups the ante. The hotel is already a crumbling mess, but then the ground starts to rumble. Yep, tanks. Actual tanks roll into the lobby, their massive treads clanking against the debris, their main cannons letting loose with earth-shattering booms that send shockwaves through the entire structure. The ceiling groans, showering everyone in dust and shattered concrete. Not to be outdone, attack helicopters with their menacing whir of rotor blades descend from the sky, strafing the building with torrents of automatic fire. Thump 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 as rounds tear through walls. It's a full-blown war zone, but the Expendables, they thrive in this kind of beautiful, noisy chaos. Drummer, in his own ridiculously well-armed helicopter, swoops in, engaging the enemy choppers in a dizzying aerial ballet of death. The crackle of his heavy machine gun is a glorious sound of impending doom for Stonebanks' Air Force. Down on the ground, the combined team works in a seamless, deafening symphony. Trench Mouser, still effortlessly cool, unloads a staggering amount of lead from his massive firearm, the roar of its discharge shaking the very foundations. Gaugo is a whirlwind of bullets and enthusiastic shouts, his gun clattering away like a broken record player, but a deadly one. The old guard protects the new, teaching them on the fly, as the ping of ricocheting bullets and the shatter of glass become the soundtrack to their survival. The young guns, using their agility and tech, adapt to the overwhelming firepower, their quick movements dodging incoming fire. Thorne, from a tactical vantage point, provides crucial intel and hacks enemy systems, the whir of his drone now an indispensable part of their offensive. The entire city block becomes a canvas for destruction, and the Expendables are painting a masterpiece with gunpowder and grit. It's a relentless, non-stop adrenaline rush, showcasing why this crew, no matter their age, is an absolutely unstoppable force, amidst the collapsing structure of the hotel. As dust and debris rain down like a post-apocalyptic snowstorm, Barney finally corners Stonebanks. The world outside is a cacophony of receding explosions and distant gunfire. But in this specific, ruined corner, an eerie silence descends, broken only by the creak of stressed metal and the drip 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 of leaking water from burst pipes. Both men discard their firearms, the metallic clatter of their weapons hitting the floor a punctuation mark for the end of the gunfight and the start of something far more primal. This isn't about bullets anymore. This is personal, raw, and utterly brutal. It's a bare-knuckle brawl, a long-simmering vendetta boiling over into a visceral display of rage and pain. The crack of Barney's fist connecting with Stonebanks' jaw echoes in the confined space, followed by a guttural grunt of pain. Stonebanks, his face a mask of deranged glee, fights back with the ferocity of a rabid animal, each blow laced with years of resentment and betrayal. The thud as bodies slam into crumbling walls, the scuff of their boots on the debris-strewn floor, the heavy, ragged breathing. Every sound is amplified, every movement carries immense weight. Barney, with a weary but unwavering determination etched on his face, knows this has to end, one way or another. Stonebanks tries to bait him, taunt him, to break his resolve, but Barney's focus is singular. The metallic tang of blood is almost palpable in the air, the burning ache in their muscles, a testament to their enduring fight. The deafening silence after an especially brutal exchange is more impactful than any explosion. Finally, with a powerful, decisive smash, Barney delivers the knockout blow. Stonebanks falls defeated. The decades-long rivalry, the deep betrayal, the personal cost, it all culminates in this one final, bone-jarring strike. It's a satisfying end to a very personal chapter, proving that sometimes you just gotta throw hands to settle old scores, especially when the building is literally falling apart around you. Asterisk. As the colossal dust cloud slowly dissipates, revealing the ravaged remains of Stonebanks Hotel, now more of an art installation dedicated to structural instability. The combined Expendables team emerges. They're covered in grime, sweat, and perhaps a little bit of concrete dust, but they're alive, and more importantly, they're together. The crunch of their boots on broken glass and debris is the only sound, a quiet, almost reverent counterpoint to the earlier cacophony. There's a palpable sense of relief, a collective sigh that sweeps through the group. The old guard, with their knowing, world-weary smiles, exchange glances with the young guns, who now carry a fresh, hard-earned respect in their eyes. The casual slap on the back, the gruff but heartfelt congratulations, it all signifies a new level of camaraderie, a melding of generations forged in the fiery crucible of combat. Even the ever-grumpy drummer manages a slight nod of approval, probably thinking about how many forms he'll have to fill out. The team walks away from the devastation, a picture of hardened resilience, their metallic gear glinting in the faint light of a new day. The whir of a distant helicopter, perhaps drummers waiting ride, is the promise of transport, but for now, they simply breathe, the scent of gunpowder and victory filling the air. This isn't just a victory. It's a testament to adaptation, to embracing change, and to the enduring power of teamwork, even if that teamwork involves blowing up half a city block. It proves that the Expendables aren't just a team. They're an evolving legend, always finding new ways to get the job done, even if it requires a little youth serum or, just some younger recruits. It's a pretty cool evolution for a franchise built on old-school muscles and even older grudges. As the dust settles and the final credits roll on The Expendables 3, we're left with a powerful message about legacy and adaptation. The film, for all its pyrotechnics and machismo, subtly reminds us that even the most hardened warriors must eventually make way for new blood, or at least learn to fight alongside them. It's a testament to enduring friendships, the relentless march of time, and the surprisingly poignant idea that sometimes, to save the day, you need everyone. Life, much like a well-executed action sequence, demands collaboration and a willingness to embrace change, even if it means upgrading your tactics. Here's to finding your own inner expendable, whatever your battle may be. Today, we're diving headfirst into the chaotic, explosion-filled world of the Expendables 3. We kick things off with a bang, literally, as the OG Expendables, Barney Ross, Lee Christmas, and Gunnar Jensen are on a mission that makes Grand Theft Auto look like a leisurely stroll. Their target? A heavily fortified prison train rumbling through a nondescript Eastern European landscape. Their objective? Rescue a legendary, slightly unhinged knife expert named Dr. Death, or Doc for short, played by the eternally cool Wesley Snipes. The team, ever so subtly, airdrops onto the train's roof, making sure to announce their arrival with a generous helping of bullet holes and shrapnel. Inside, Doc is just casually whittling away his time, probably contemplating new ways to disarm people with a spoon when his ride arrives. The ensuing firefight is a beautiful symphony of metallic clangs, shotgun blasts echoing through the carriages, and the delightful thud of bad guys hitting the floor. Doc, still looking impossibly stylish, proves he hasn't lost a step, quickly reacquainting himself with the fine art of mayhem. It's less a rescue, more a mobile demolition derby, and it's absolutely glorious. If you had a good time with this, a like and a subscribe is a free way to help me keep making more fresh off their train shenanigans. The crew heads to Somalia, tasked by CIA operative drummer Harrison Ford, who's clearly too old for this, but still awesome to intercept a shipment of bombs. Barney suspects something's off, and his spidey sense is, as usual, spot on. They parachute in, landing with all the grace of a stack of bricks, right into an active war zone. The air fills with the familiar whiz and thud of incoming fire, punctuated by the rhythmic chugging of automatic weapons. Suddenly, the sky opens up with heavy artillery, and their chopper takes a nasty hit, forcing a hard landing. Amidst the chaos of exploding barrels and splintering crates, they encounter the arms dealer, a shadowy figure orchestrating the whole mess. This isn't just any arms dealer though. It's Conrad Stonebanks, played with delicious villainy by Mel Gibson. Turns out, he was an original co-founder of the Expendables, a fact that hits Barney like a punch to the gut. The betrayal hangs heavy in the humid air. During the brutal firefight, Stonebanks makes a grand, unceremonious re-entry into Barney's life by nearly blowing Hail Caesar Terry Crews to smithereens. The crack of the sniper rifle is deafening, and Caesar goes down hard, leaving a sickening thud. The team is forced to retreat, dragging Caesar's lifeless-looking body, leaving Barney seething with a cold, vengeful fury. It's a gut-wrenching moment, a harsh reminder that even the toughest old dogs can be brought down back at a surprisingly sterile hospital. The air crackles with tension as doctors frantically try to save Caesar. The beeping of medical equipment is a stark contrast to the explosions they're used to. Barney watches, a silent sentinel, the weight of his friend's potential death crushing him. The raw, guttural fear of losing one of his own finally pushes him over the edge. These aren't just mercenaries. They're family. And family, he realizes, deserves more than a bloody end in a dusty marketplace. The old guard, with their creaky joints and a lifetime of scars, are becoming liabilities, magnets for trouble. So, with a heavy heart and the kind of grim resolve only a man who's seen too much can possess, Barney makes a drastic decision. He disbands the Expendables. It's a somber, silent farewell, a bitter pill to swallow for a team built on unwavering loyalty. He tells them they're out for their own good, a phrase that always lands with a dull thud. The scene is heavy with unspoken grief and the metallic taste of betrayal, not from Stonebanks this time, but from Barney's own fear of loss. The clinking of their dog tags as they reluctantly hand them over is almost heartbreaking. It's a tough call, the kind that shows even the baddest of badasses have a soft spot. Somewhere under all that denim and leather dot with the old team sidelined and a personal vendetta burning brighter than a refinery fire, Barney knows he can't face Stonebanks alone. So he does what any self-respecting action hero would do. He goes recruitment shopping. But not just any recruits. He needs young blood, fresh faces, people who know their way around a smartphone as well as a bazooka. He enlists the help of Bonaparte, a wonderfully cynical, slightly world-weary associate played by Kelsey Grammer. Bonaparte, with a sigh that implies he's seen it all and still isn't impressed, presents Barney with a curated selection of fresh meat for the grinder. We meet Luna, a fiery martial artist who moves with the grace of a ninja on a caffeine high. Then there's Smiley, a cocky ex-marine with a sharp tongue and an even sharper aim. Mars, the tech wizard who can probably hack into your toaster from across the street. And finally, Thorn, a parkour expert and drone pilot who can probably outrun a cheetah while simultaneously flying 3 drones and live streaming it. Barney, ever the grizzled veteran, puts them through their paces, testing their mettle, their loyalty, and their ability to not get themselves immediately killed. The interviews are less about resumes and more about demonstrating their capacity for controlled chaos. It's a mix of skepticism and grudging admiration from Barney, a true changing of the guard, as he tries to build a team that can outsmart Stonebanks, not just outmuscle him. It's like an extreme version of a job interview where the stakes are life, death, and how quickly you can disarm a bomb with the new generation on board. It's time for some serious boot camp, Expendables style. This isn't your grandma's knitting circle. This is where you learn to turn everyday objects into lethal weapons and how to defuse a bomb while simultaneously dodging bullets. We get a montage because what's a recruitment scene without a good montage? The youngsters are seen honing their skills, Luna delivering devastating kicks that would make a horse wince, Smiley practicing his precision shooting with a laser focus, Mars doing some advanced hacking that probably involves more than just turning it off and on again. And Thorn, well, Thorn is just parkouring his way through existence, making it look effortless. Barney, observing from a distance, is a mix of a proud papa and a skeptical drill sergeant. He sees their raw talent, their speed, their tech savviness, but he also sees their youth, their inexperience with the true horrors of combat. There's a subtle tension between the old-school grit he's used to and the modern, almost digital approach these kids bring. It's a crash course in how to survive in a world where the bad guys don't play fair and the stakes are always life or death. The air is thick with the scent of gunpowder, sweat, and probably a little bit of youthful overconfidence. They're quick, they're smart, and they're ready to prove they can fill the ridiculously large boots of the legends who came before them. Barney's hoping this blend of old-school muscle and new-school brains is the secret sauce they need. Their first real test comes swiftly. Stonebanks is reportedly making an appearance at a swanky art auction in Romania, probably to bid on some priceless artifact he can sell to fund his next batch of global mischief. This is where the new team's modern approach really shines, or at least that's the plan. Luna, looking absolutely stunning and completely out of place in a designer dress, infiltrates the auction as a high society bidder. She's all sleek moves and dangerous charm, blending in like a panther at a poodle show. Thorn is her tech-savvy eyes and ears, perched high above, probably thinking about how many rooftops he could leap across if he wasn't stuck in a ventilation shaft. Smiley and Mars are on remote support, doing their digital wizardry, hacking into security cameras, and generally making sure everyone's data privacy is thoroughly violated. The objective is reconnaissance to confirm Stonebanks' presence and gather intelligence. The tension is palpable. Every whispered conversation, every glint of a security camera feels like a potential trap. They navigate the elegant crowd, a stark contrast to the usual dusty battlefields of the old team. It's a game of cat and mouse, but with more expensive champagne and less obvious explosions, at least for now. Barney watches from a distance, a silent guardian, a man caught between the need for speed and the wisdom of experience, hoping these kids don't trip over their own enthusiasm, asterisk. Just when it seems the new crew has nailed the reconnaissance mission, identifying Stonebanks in the flesh, the rug gets savagely pulled out from under them. This isn't an art auction. It's a meticulously crafted ambush, a trap set by Stonebanks with the precision of a master chess player. The elegant facade shatters, replaced by the grim reality of a well-executed military operation. Stonebanks' goons swarm the new team, who, despite their impressive skills, are quickly overwhelmed by sheer numbers and superior planning. The crackle of tasers and the thud of bodies hitting the ground replace the hushed whispers of the auction. Barney, watching from a vantage point just outside, can only look on in agonizing helplessness as his fresh recruits, the very people he tried to protect by replacing his old team, are systematically rounded up. The sense of failure must have been crushing, like a tank rolling over his soul. Stonebanks, ever the showman, then broadcasts his captured prizes to Barney via a live video feed, delivering a chilling monologue filled with smug satisfaction and barely veiled threats. He mocks Barney's efforts, gloating about the capture, reminding him of their shared past and the personal vendetta that now runs deeper than ever. It's a devastating blow, a mission failed screen popping up in real life, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Barney is left with nothing but the bitter taste of defeat and the desperate need to save his new, inexperienced family, with his new team captured and his old team disbanded. Barney is truly up against the wall. He's cornered, desperate, and probably wishing he'd just retired to a quiet beach somewhere to open a smoothie stand. But alas, heroes don't get smoothie stands. They get more problems. Swallowing a pride thicker than a concrete bunker, Barney reaches out to the only people who might even consider helping, his extended network of grizzled, equally lethal acquaintances. He finds himself in a tense meeting with Drummer and Trench, two guys who practically ooze see-nit-all wisdom. Asking for help isn't exactly in Barney's job description, so the conversation is stiff, filled with unspoken accusations and the heavy silence of past grievances. But the stakes are too high for grudges. Meanwhile, an unexpected, incredibly talkative wildcard enters the fray, Galgo, played with infectious energy by Antonio Banderas. Galgo is a former Spanish Special Forces soldier who just wants to belong, practically begging Barney for a spot on the team. He's loud, he's relentless, and he's clearly got more energy than a dozen Red Bull commercials. Barney, initially annoyed by Galgo's incessant chatter, slowly starts to see the value in his enthusiasm and undeniable skills. It's like trying to get a stray puppy to stop following you home, but the puppy happens to be a highly trained killing machine. This desperate gathering of fragmented forces marks a turning point, signaling that the old Expendables are about to get a much-needed and slightly irritating shot in the arm. The call has gone out, and like a finely tuned, slightly rusty orchestra, the old guard starts to reassemble. Drummer, despite his initial reluctance, throws his weight behind Barney, offering up a plea and probably a lecture on better planning. Trench, ever the stoic but reliable ally, agrees to join the party, bringing his signature "I'll be back, and I'll bring bigger guns" attitude. The original Expendables who were fired don't get the invite just yet, but Barney brings back Doc, who's probably still buzzing from the train rescue. And then, in a delightful surprise, the legendary Yin Yang Jet Li makes his return. His quiet, deadly efficiency is a welcome sight. Galgo, having successfully annoyed his way into the team, is practically vibrating with excitement. It's an unlikely coalition, a CIA operative to former rivals, a knife master, a martial arts legend, and a motor-mouthed Spanish commando, all rallied by a man whose only goal is to clean up his own mess. The banter is sharp, the camaraderie is palpable, and the sheer amount of firepower they represent could probably take down a small nation. This isn't just a team, it's a force of nature, and Avengers assemble for the over 50 crowd, and it's glorious. They're back, they're angry, and they've got a whole new generation to save. With the band officially back together and an almost certainly illegal amount of firepower at their disposal, the team embarks on their journey to Azerbaijan. This isn't a scenic tourist trip. It's a one-way ticket to a war zone. Their destination, Stonebanks' heavily fortified, undoubtedly booby-trapped compound, nestled somewhere in the desolate, mountainous terrain. The plane ride is a fascinating contrast of personalities. Galgo is still chattering away, probably outlining various improbable attack scenarios, while Yin Yang sits in quiet contemplation, radiating an aura of lethal calm. Doc sharpens his knives, the metallic rasp a constant, unnerving rhythm. Barney, ever the strategist, pores over maps and schematics, his brow furrowed with the weight of the upcoming battle. The air is thick with anticipation, the hum of the aircraft a low counterpoint to the unspoken fears and fierce determination. This isn't just a rescue mission, it's a personal vendetta for Barney, a chance to right his wrongs and protect the innocents he inadvertently endangered. The calm before the storm is rarely truly calm, and here, it's filled with the quiet clink of weapons, the rustle of tactical gear, and the steely gaze of men who know they might not all be coming back. It's a moment of reflection before they unleash hell. A classic action movie trope that never gets old. They arrive at Stonebanks' lair, a sprawling industrial complex that screams villain hideout from every angle. This isn't a subtle infiltration. This is kick down the door and ask questions later with a side of high explosives. The old guard, with their seasoned tactics, breach one section, while the new blood, probably still a little miffed about being captured, tackles another. The initial contact is pure, unadulterated mayhem. Gunfire erupts like a sudden, violent thunderstorm. The crack of Snipe's pistol, the roar of Statham's shotgun, the percussive thud of Lundgren's fists. It's a symphony of destruction. They move with brutal efficiency, clearing rooms, neutralizing threats, and generally making a mess of Stonebanks' security budget. The compound's concrete walls reverberate with the sounds of combat, a cacophony of breaking glass, shouted orders, and the satisfying crunch of bad guys hitting the floor. The young team, despite their earlier stumble, proves their worth, blending their tech-savvy maneuvers with the old team's raw combat experience. It's a beautiful dance of coordinated violence, where every explosion feels perfectly timed, every headshot expertly placed. This is the Expendables doing what they do best, turning a tranquil industrial zone into a very loud, very deadly playground. The mission is officially on, and Stonebanks is about to learn that you don't mess with Barney's family, old or new. The initial skirmishes quickly morph into an absolute maelstrom. This isn't a firefight, it's a firestorm. Stonebanks' private army, a seemingly endless supply of highly disposable henchmen, pours out from every corner of the compound. The air literally shimmers with the heat of tracer rounds, and the ground vibrates with the concussive force of grenades. The old team, like a well-oiled machine, moves through the chaos with a grim determination, each punch, kick, and bullet a testament to decades of honed brutality. Statham's knives flash with deadly precision, Stallone's revolver barks with a thunderous echo, and Lundgren simply bulldozes his way through obstacles like a sentient wrecking ball. Meanwhile, the new team, using their agility and tech, navigates the environment with parkour leaps and strategic drone strikes. The thumping rhythm of gunfire is relentless, punctuated by the metallic ping of spent casings hitting the floor and the sickening thud of bodies dropping. It's a symphony of organized destruction, a ballet of bullets and broken bones. This is where the movie really earns its title, as the Expendables prove that no matter their age, they are still capable of turning an entire army into a pile of very expensive scrap metal. The sheer number of bad guys is almost comical, like Stonebanks bought them in bulk, but our heroes are clearly enjoying themselves, despite the gravity of the situation. It's a glorious, over-the-top slugfest. Just when you think the chaos couldn't possibly get any more chaotic, Stonebanks decides to unleash his vehicular arsenal. Because why have a simple firefight when you can have a full-blown tank battle? Armored trucks barrel through the compound, their mounted turrets spitting fire, and then, because Expendables, a helicopter enters the fray, raining down lead from above. The soundscape shifts from mere gunfire to the roar of engines, the metallic grind of tank treads, and the unmistakable, terrifying thud-thud-thud of an attack chopper. The Expendables respond with their usual subtlety by blowing everything up. Tanks explode in magnificent fireballs, sending shrapnel and debris flying like deadly confetti. Christmas, with his knack for impossible stunts, probably takes down a few of these armored beasts, with nothing but a well-aimed grenade and a cheeky grin. The helicopter becomes a primary target, eventually succumbing to a volley of well-placed RPGs, transforming into a spectacular, fiery meteor as it careens into a building, leaving a crater-sized impression and an even bigger explosion. It's a testament to the team's utter disregard for safety regulations and a love for property damage. This isn't just a battle. It's a heavy metal concert of destruction, where every explosion is a drum beat and every bullet a guitar riff. The sheer scale of the carnage is breathtaking, a glorious ballet of death and demolition. You can practically feel the heat of the explosions, the vibrating thrum of the heavy artillery. The Expendables are basically a natural disaster, but on our side. In the swirling vortex of destruction, individual Expendables truly shine, each a deadly maestro in their own right. Lee Christmas, ever the agile assassin, pirouettes through hails of bullets, his knives a blur of lethal silver. The whoosh of his blades, followed by the sickening thud as they find their mark, is a grim symphony. Gunnar Jensen, a walking, talking mountain of muscle, simply barrels through opponents, his brute force leaving a trail of unconscious or worse henchmen. You can almost feel the impact of his punches, the way he just absorbs punishment. Doc, with his unsettling calm, dances through the fray, his knives twirling with a lethal grace that makes you wonder if he's secretly a chef in his off hours. And Yin Young, the quiet storm, delivers lightning-fast martial arts strikes, his movements so fluid they're almost impossible to follow. The crack of his knuckles against bone is a sound you won't soon forget. What's even better is seeing the old guard interact with the new blood. The young team's tech-enabled tactics, like Thorne's drone providing aerial support or Mars's hacking abilities, complement the old school's raw, visceral combat. It's a beautiful, violent synergy where experience meets innovation and everyone gets to blow something up. Each team member gets their moment in the sun, a brief, glorious spotlight on their unique brand of mayhem, reminding us why these characters are legends in their own right. It's a satisfying blend of individual heroics and surprisingly effective teamwork amidst the collapsing infrastructure and the unending torrent of explosions. The true main event finally arrives: Barney Ross versus Conrad Stonebanks. This isn't just a fight. It's a grudge match steeped in years of betrayal, a personal vendetta boiling over into a raw, visceral brawl. They meet on a precarious, crumbling structure, a fitting backdrop for two legends whose time might be running out. The air crackles with unspoken history and bitter resentment. Every punch thrown, every block, every desperate gasp for air carries the weight of their past. The crack of bone on bone, the strained grunts, the heavy thuds of bodies slamming against metal, these are the sounds of two grizzled titans going all out. Stonebanks, with his manic energy and sadistic glee, pushes Barney to his limits, clearly enjoying every painful blow. Barney, fueled by the desire for revenge and the need to protect his family, fights with a renewed, desperate ferocity. It's less about elegant choreography and more about raw, desperate survival. The structure beneath them groans and gives way, adding another layer of danger to their already deadly dance. This is the moment Barney has been building towards, the ultimate confrontation, and he's not holding anything back. It's a brutal, exhausting, deeply personal struggle, showing that even the most hardened mercenaries bleed and feel pain. The brutal, agonizing dance between Barney and Stonebanks reaches its inevitable conclusion. With one final, decisive move, Barney gains the upper hand. He doesn't just defeat Stonebanks, he executes him, a cold, hard, definitive end to a bitter rivalry. The sickening thwack of the bullet is followed by the sound of Stonebanks tumbling from the collapsing structure, his reign of terror ending not with a whimper, but with a very satisfying splat. With their nemesis neutralized, the entire compound decides it's had enough and begins a spectacular, dramatic collapse around them. Buildings buckle, concrete explodes, and metal twists like Play-Doh. It's an absolute race against time and gravity. The Expendables, old and new, rally together, performing a daring, last-minute extraction. Helicopters swoop in, barely avoiding falling debris, as the team makes a frantic dash for safety. It's a chaotic symphony of shouting, the roar of engines, and the thunderous rumble of the collapsing structure. They barely make it out, leaving behind a smoking, ruined landscape. The air is thick with the acrid scent of gunpowder and dust, but also with the sweet smell of victory. They've done it! They've saved the kids and they've avenged Caesar. The final escape is as chaotic and explosive as the rest of the movie, perfectly capping off the sheer amount of destruction they've caused, with Stonebanks finally out of the picture and the dust literally, figuratively settled. It's time for the Expendables to do what they do best, celebrate their survival with a hearty dose of camaraderie and probably a lot of booze. The scene shifts to a bar, a familiar haunt where both the old guard and the new blood are finally mingling, no longer separated by generations or experience. There's a warmth in the air, a sense of earned respect. The young guns have proven their mettle, and the veterans have once again shown that experience trumps youth sometimes. The laughter is genuine, the clinking of glasses a happy counterpoint to the explosions they just survived. Drummer, ever the harbinger of future headaches, makes an appearance, offering Barney and the now fully integrated team another mission. It's a reminder that their work is never truly done, that there's always another villain to stop, another country to save, and another explosion to cause. It's an uplifting ending, showing that even in a world of constant conflict, there's always a place for heroes, no matter how old or how new. As we wrap up this wild ride, remember the spirit of collaboration, of bringing together different strengths to overcome impossible odds. It's a lesson that extends beyond the big screen into our own lives. Always be open to new ideas, new people, and new ways of tackling challenges. And sometimes, you just need a good team, a lot of firepower, and a healthy dose of courage to get the job done. This movie reminds us that even when the chips are down, the Expendables will always find a way to unite, adapt, and keep fighting for what's right. Keep that spirit alive, folks. Until next time.